Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And if it's your first time, welcome. It's great to have you here. So our Grow My Business webinar, we have this bi-weekly, and this is where we speak to industry experts around the world on tools and resources you need to grow your business today. So I will be going through some house rules. So today we have Beau Sackey from Ghana. He will be talking about digital sales strategy that will empower your business today. So before I go into that, I would just like to lay down some house rules. So if you have any questions during Beau's section, you can leave that in the Q&A section just right below. And if you would like to talk to other attendees, you can also chat with them in the chat section. So the reason why we want you to have that in the Q&A section so that it doesn't get lost in the chat. And yeah, and also if you, this is also being recorded. So if you didn't start with us or you missed or you drop off in between, we'll be sending you an email later this week. And also you would also see that on our YouTube channel, which is Flutterwave. And you can also catch up on previous session of our Grow My Business webinar. So yeah, today we're having Beau Sackey. Beau Sackey is the co-founder and CEO of Plendify. And he's also a seasoned professional with at least 15 years of management and consulting. And he also has like a breadth of experience with Fortune 500 companies like Accenture, Deloitte, and PwC. And yeah, he's the CEO of Plendify. Plendify is a Pan-African marketplace for small and large African wholesalers, manufacturers, exporters, and importers in Ghana. So he'll be taking his session shortly, and he'll be telling us digital sales strategies that would empower your business today. Hi, Beau, are you there?
Today, we're talking about digital sales and ways that we can use certain tactics or at least some certain strategies to empower your business and help you to improve in that aspect of sales, right? So looking forward to sharing with you some of our ideas over here at Plendify and how we believe it can really help to empower your business as you look to expand your top line and make more sales and more revenue in the process. So, I mean, obviously we all know our current reality in the world today. COVID-19 has definitely been very disruptive in many ways than one, but obviously a key one being, for example, disrupted global supply chains, which we are yet to even fully recover from. So as you know, we are now slowly getting back into what it was pre-COVID, but quite frankly, we're still far away from normalcy in that sense. And every country around the world has felt the impact in some way. I mean, obviously some more than others, but I think nobody can say that they haven't, seen, heard, or felt COVID wherever they are in the world. And I think, it's a reality of what we need to do as people that own companies or businesses to understand that, globally we are facing significant challenges and significant headwinds, right? And I think one of the most affected constituents or most affected groups in the world has been those who own businesses, right? For example, if you're an entrepreneur, you have your own business, for example, or a micro company or SME, for example, we have felt the brunt of this COVID-19 and obviously all its repercussions around, disruptions have been quite felt a lot by us, in this particular group of people that we know to basically own companies and businesses. And obviously in Africa too, we haven't been exempt. So we have also felt this, I think, even to a bigger impact, because again, a lot of what we see use daily in Africa are usually from imports, right? And so we are definitely not exempt from the challenges that we're facing today. And I think all of this represents why, you cannot afford to be purely offline in this particular time and this particular century and going forward into the coming decade, right? And so it makes sense that as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, for example, you think about how do I leverage online or leverage the internet to be able to stay in business and stay relevant, across the world. McKinsey, a very reputable consulting company that's global in nature, has given us a sense of what they believe to be the case here in Africa, right? And they're telling us that, for example, a lot of trade is happening currently offline, and they're expecting, B2B, which obviously stands for business to business sales, to be north of $3 trillion in about 4 or 5 years time from now, right? In Africa alone. And currently the majority of this trade is all offline. And so there is really a chance for us to look at this data point and say, okay, how can we be able to go online and do more of this selling and buying and trading, in an online way, given that we've experienced COVID-19, we've experienced disruptions around supply chain, around logistics, around lockdowns, right? Less production happening because people cannot go to work, for example. So we've all experienced in different ways the brunt of how the offline world has made us limited in terms of what we can do during such a time. And I think also too, as we see incomes growing steadily across Africa, as we see people looking for more convenience, more great service, amongst other things like that, it only makes sense that we start thinking about how do we optimize for online selling and also optimize for future, growth. So what's the macro landscape like? I believe my audience is primarily in Africa. And so obviously I'm speaking more towards sub-Saharan Africa, an audience that's basically based in this part of the world, right? And we know, for example, at the macro level, we're obviously experiencing difficulty when it comes to, credit access, right? So we all know, for example, that, usually banks, this side of the world look for things like collateral, for example, right? They tend to want to give you money only when you don't need the money, actually, right? And so it's very hard to access credit. If you ask, for example, any entrepreneur, either in Ghana, for example, or Nigeria, they will tell you how difficult it is to access credit affordably, and even quite frankly, on a timely basis as well. And so we know that challenge is very, very evident. Second, as well, is also, for example, currency fluctuations, right? It's very hard to predict what the currency would look like, 12 months from now, right? Will it be fairly stable? Will it, depreciate? And all those different questions that you may have as an owner of a business. And so the goal really is to ensure that, how do we live in a world where these challenges are quite prevalent and be able to navigate them successfully. Cost of goods and services are rising, right? We keep seeing, price increments, on a weekly basis, daily basis, monthly basis for basic amenities, right? From food, from petrol or gas, for example, amongst many other day-to-day needs that we have here on the continent. And then lastly, supply chain disruptions, right? As I said before, if you have, for example, very high import-dependent countries, with COVID-19, you're now faced with, for example, a longer timeline before you can get goods, if they do even arrive, for example, because again, shipping lines are not the same anymore. Travel has obviously been hit hard, right? And so all of these macro landscapes or all of these points on the macro landscape give us a sense of how challenging it is to be an entrepreneur or an owner of a business, on the continent, quite frankly. And so I want to basically give you a message of hope, knowing that despite all these challenges, there are still ways that we can stay relevant and still ways that we can navigate these circumstances for a better future and a better tomorrow. So why do we think that, digital sales matters, right? And quite frankly, why does that matter today or now, right? So think about it. Currently, for example, you may have a shop somewhere that perhaps next to that shop is like a warehouse, for example, where you store your goods or items that you sell, that you either produce and sell. So right off the bat, you have, for example, a higher capex, right? Higher capital expenses that you have to basically, pay for from the onset. Number two, for example, things like, hazards from, occupational hazards, right? Pilfering, for example, theft that happens, fires, flooding. I'll give you a story. I think just yesterday in here in Accra, at a very popular market district in Accra, the capital, it's called Makola Market. And essentially, there was a fire outbreak yesterday. And I believe this is the second time they've had a fire outbreak, I think in less than 3 months. So I think there's one in July and one yesterday as well. And in both incidents, obviously, people that have shops and stores and facilities in that market have lost, their goods and their wares, right? And it's just a part of the job risks as well that you have to basically, put up with if you're a solely offline business, right? Number three, high levels of friction. Again, friction means that, okay, for example, you have a store somewhere in a certain city or town, for example, people need to come to you to basically transact with you. And so obviously, you have a very limited market in that sense. And two, we tend to also be very, very cash driven or cash heavy in our society currently as we speak. So all these things are putting in place barriers to you making more sales, right? So how do we take away these barriers to sales? By offering you insights and also ways that you can basically address these gaps efficiently. So these 4 points illustrate why we need to have an online plan as of today, why we need to think about selling online, whether it's through e-commerce, whether it's through marketplaces, platforms of that kind of nature as well. So I think these are all things that have to basically be in the minds of an owner of a business to allow you to think about, okay, how do I migrate or how do I transition from being purely offline to, for example, semi-online before you become a fully, digital platform and digital business for the future, if that's your goal. So how can we get this done right? So I think our approach to selling online or digital sales is basically looking at, 3 things. I believe strongly in the power of 3. So I'll give you 3 points about how we can expand our top line, how we can make more money, how we can drive revenue growth. So for example, one is you can definitely join a trusted marketplace, for example, like we are offering here at Plendify.com, right? So for example, think about today, right? If you go into a mall to go and buy something, for example, at a particular store, because you're already in the mall, chances are when you get into the mall, you can look at different shops and thereby, for example, as an owner of a business, you may end up drawing in an audience that they perhaps may not have been looking for you in the first place. And so although they may have come for a different reason, because they've come into a place where there are different options for goods supply and goods and services, they can thereby, as a result of coming to one store, coming to your store as well, and use your store and buy from you. And so by being part of this market, for example, you're giving yourself the chance to have more eyeballs, more people, more traffic come to your business as well at a much lower cost. So for example, as opposed to, for example, either going to build your own shop or build your own factory or warehouse or build something from scratch, for example, you can basically lease a space, right, in the marketplace or in the mall and basically at a very low expense, you're able to basically showcase what you produce, showcase what you sell, and thereby give your customers an option to try you out. Number two is also about payment friction. And I believe, the more choice you give your customers when it comes to payments, the more likely you are that you're going to get a higher level of sales. I think it's proven that when you offer customers more options for payments, you tend to do better with your top line, basically expanding your revenue line and growing your sales. And so I believe strongly in allowing customers a variety of ways to pay for what they want to buy from you. And I believe that will also allow them to convert much faster than, if you didn't have many options, or for example, if you only had one option. And again, with the growth of, for example, fintech payments and all the like, and migrating from a cash-heavy economy to a cash-light economy, having other payment options truly represents that you're thinking about ways to give your customers, more access to you, more access to your business, and therefore more sales in the process. I want to also discuss, I think, one thing that I think we tend to overlook as well is service. And by that, I mean excellent customer service. What happens is, what happens is, for example, we know that people tend to buy from a particular store or shop, either offline or online, when the service that they provide at that particular shop or business is of a high quality. And so by serving your customers properly, you're able to repeat sales. As we all know, with the very popular adage, the customer is always right, or the customer is, is king, or the customer is queen, for example. These things go to show that by offering good customer service, you are able to also expand your top line. Now, what does that look like, for example, in an online world, right? In an e-commerce world? It means, for example, responding to customer queries in a very prompt way, being available through different channels of interaction, whether it's email, whether it's a phone, whether it's WhatsApp, for example. Being available to your customers through different mediums is a way to provide excellent service. Being able to respond quickly to their questions or queries is also a way of serving them well. Essentially being on hand to give them a seamless experience across start to finish. And so the goal really here is to ensure that they're able to have an experience that is welcoming at the beginning and also grateful at the end. So when, for example, when they come into your store, they come into your space, for example, welcoming them, either with like a message that you send, for example, that says, welcome to my online shop, for example. They ask a question, you respond in a timely manner. You're able to serve them and be proactive around service. There's also a term that, it's quite hard to say, but it is pronounced lagniappe, which is, Lagniappe. And you say it lagniappe, and basically it's a Spanish phrase for meaning, doing more than what's required of you. So for example, you go into like a bakery and they give you, you buy 12 donuts. A shop owner who basically, gives you lagniappe will give you, I guess, 13 donuts because they give you one extra. And so how can we figure out ways to give our buyers that come to our online stores, or our online shops, or our marketplace, stall, something extra? One, it makes you memorable as a business, and two, it gives the buyer a very good feeling about their dealings with you as a business or as a supplier, and therefore most likely they'll return again because they felt they felt in a very good way when they dealt with you as a owner of a business, or as a company, or as a shop or a store. And so these are three easy ways that I believe could easily change the way that you operate right now, and allow you to see that it's not really a stretch to basically go from offline to online. And when you're online, for example, you don't have to go from having a store and then basically say, okay, I'm going to build a very fancy e-commerce website, and therefore spend a lot of money upfront to do all these things. There are platforms that exist today where you can go at a low cost, or quite frankly, for free, where you can start to basically list what you sell, show your images that are appropriate to what you're selling. You give the accurate descriptions of what you're selling. Basically, entice people to look at your store online, right? Again, like I said before, you can do so by joining a marketplace. It's free to do in most cases, or very, very affordable as well. And you get a chance to have a bigger audience looking at your store because they're coming onto the marketplace. And although they may not come for you in particular, because they are there and they're looking around, they're discovering different stores or shops on the marketplace, they might come across your profile or your shop and therefore transact with you. Number two, give them more options for payments, right? So don't just offer cash, for example, or cash on delivery, right? Figure out ways to incorporate payments into your platform to allow them to transact with you in a variety of ways. As you know, when you're online, your buyer could be anywhere around the world. So when you have more options, you have higher conversions and therefore higher top line and therefore higher sales. And then lastly, like I said before, being very quick to respond to customer queries, ensuring that they're welcome, thanking them for their business, if possible, adding something free or extra to whatever they buy, to give that memory of a good interaction that they had with your store, and therefore try and drive repeat sales with you online. Now, I think it's always good to look at both the top line as well as what's below that top line as well. So prior to this slide, we have covered the revenue side of things. Now we're looking at the expense side of things. How do we reduce cost? How do we reduce expenses? So that overall we see growth in our online business. So first thing I will say, for example, is that if you currently own a store offline or a shop offline somewhere, in your city, for example, whether it's Lagos, Accra, Abidjan, or wherever you are, for example, you can say to your customers, okay, look, I'm thinking about going online as well. So here is a link to my online shop. And quite frankly, we all, for example, now on social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, and others, LinkedIn, you can easily share, WhatsApp, for example, you can easily share your online store link with your existing customer base to say, look, you're looking at transitioning from offline to online, and therefore you would appreciate if they could start, buying from you through your online channel. And quite frankly, a simple link that basically describes, where to get you online will allow them to basically start transacting with you that way. So right off the bat, without spending too much on marketing or having to do a very big, PR campaign around your online sales, you're able to turn your already existing audience into an online audience. And then hopefully with the growth of your following or growth of your online transactions, you're able to get people that don't know you to start coming and buying from you online. Because, for example, you have ratings, you have reviews done. And ideally, as you get good reviews and good ratings, the word starts to spread out that basically they can find you online and transact with you online. And so it's a very easy way and a very cost-effective way to begin your journey from the offline space into the online space. Number two is it's time basically to put on your skills around negotiation, right? How do you manage our cost? As we know, in every business, its lifeblood is cash flow. So how can you negotiate, for example, with your suppliers to extend account payables, right? I'm trying to give easy wins that basically you can put in place today if you wanted to do that today for your business. Figure out, for example, my current supplier base, who has given me the most aggressive terms, and how can I negotiate with them to get better terms? And usually this starts by saying, okay, transacting in a very honest way, in a very ethical way. So for example, you begin with, for example, a supplier to your business, and perhaps might say, okay, they'll give you 1 week credits. But obviously, as you pay back and build your track record with them, they start to trust you more. And then, for example, give you, 2 weeks of credits. And so as you build a relationship with them, you're able to now negotiate and say, look, I've been with you for about a year or 6 months now. And basically, as you can see from my history, whenever you give me credit, I'm able to pay back on the set date. And therefore, I'm thinking that you could perhaps extend that credit period. And so now, by being able to extend your account payables period from a short term to a longer duration, you now have more cash in the bank to play around with. And also too, on the other side of the coin is how do you also negotiate account receivables when clients owe you, for example? Are you able to have them pay you sooner? Are you able to, for example, give them a discount if they pay you sooner? So think about ways that you can employ tactics that allows those that owe you money or those that owe your company money to pay you sooner, and also allow yourself to basically pay those who you owe much later. That allows you to have a bigger capital to work around with, and also good cash flow as well. And then also mostly ignored, for example, is also campaigns around promotions, right? So think about things that you have, for example, in your shop or warehouse or facility that perhaps aren't moving very quickly. How can you move them out? Because again, when you have inventory sitting in your store or shop or factory or facility or warehouse, it's basically money sitting down, right? So think about ways that you can perhaps do discounts, do a sale, for example, so that you can, move out things that are slow moving and then bring in things that are moving faster than the others. So that way you're also able to control your cash flow cycle and manage your cost appropriately. And then finally too is also, again, repeating what I said before on the slide prior about how to grow your top line. Also too, by providing excellent customer service, you're also able to reduce your costs because, for example, you will have fewer returns, right? And the goal is to also focus on WYSI, WYG. What you see is what you get. A lot of times people have online shops where they're selling goods or services, and the description of what they sell or offer and what you get in actuality as a buyer or customer is very different. That leads to poor reviews, that leads to poor ratings. And quite frankly, that could lead to damage to your online reputation, and thereby reduce your business growth and reduce your sales. And so I think by providing excellent customer service, not only are you boosting your revenues, but you're also decreasing your cost as well. And thereby, as a business entity overall, you start to see growth, right? So the goal is to ensure that what you say you do is exactly what you do. Your images should match the actual item. The description and the quality that you put on the platform or on your online store should match what the buyer actually receives when they get the item from you, right? And so these are ways that you can ensure that on the expense side of things too, is also at a minimum, right? You're able to reduce returns. You don't have to pay, for example, for shipping, pickup of the item from the buyer anymore. So all those costs around logistics, around shipping, around delivery of the item back to you because it was returned, cost involved. For example, if they pay you online, for example, and the cost or the item is returned, they probably will ask for a refund, which means paying them back. And so not only are you paying for the cost to transact with your platform, on the buy phase, but also you're also paying again on the return phase. And so all these things, lead to more expense and more cost for your business. And so again, by focusing on excellent customer service, you're able to drive these costs down and be able to, reduce your expense and thereby have a good and viable business for the long term. So let me just quickly show you a few ways in which Plendify is solving these issues as well, and then we can jump into the Q&A later on.
The Plendify B2B marketplace is giving all business owners an opportunity to have access to global markets by having you own a fully functioning end-to-end e-commerce store affordably. Once payment for the e-commerce store is made, the online store functionality is added to your supplier profile. By clicking on the supply button on the left-hand menu, you are brought to your e-commerce store page setup. Enter all details, click on Done, and in less than 2 minutes, your e-commerce store is up and running. It is noteworthy that once your products are already listed on our marketplace, they are automatically uploaded to your e-commerce store. So now you have visibility on both the marketplace and on your own website. Buyers in Ghana, Africa, and around the world can now buy directly from your store and pay with a variety of payment methods, including mobile money, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and more. What Plendify is offering your business is a fully functioning e-commerce store, including your preferred domain name, hosting, global delivery, global payments, supported by excellent customer service, all for less than $25 a month. The world wants to buy from you. Sign up today.
So as you can see, that was the e-commerce part of our platform. So we've seen that some of our audiences want to have their own e-commerce store as well. And so what they've done, for example, is they're able to migrate their existing offline customers to their own websites, to their own store. And we're offering them a chance to get paid, a chance to basically ship anywhere in the world as well. And so we're doing all the hard work for them end to end, while they basically focus on driving more viewers or more people to come and transact with them. Also, to a very key thing about what we're offering is that our Plendify, if you, for example, are already on our marketplace and you have your own store through us as well, you now have you're now visible in 2 different places at the same time, and so therefore you're able to have a bigger audience. Your existing following coming, for example, to your own e-commerce store, and also, for example, global traffic or global audiences coming to the marketplace, and therefore you have a higher chance of converting because your visibility is much more broader and has a wider reach. Like I said before, we are an African platform, and so the goal really is to bring on board African suppliers who are looking for convenience as it relates to payments, and also convenience as it relates to delivery. I think a big hurdle that we've seen or heard from our current audience is that it's very tough for them to ship cross-border within Africa and even globally. And so with our partnerships with different courier companies around the world, we're able to offer them very good pricing and good or heavily discounted rates when it comes to shipping their items to anywhere in the world. And so I think a lot of our customers are very happy with that particular feature of our platform, and therefore are able to, join us and onboard and basically work with us successfully.
I am glad I was introduced to the Plendify B2B marketplace. They've helped my business in so many ways. I deal in home essentials like cookware, kitchen appliances, beddings, towels, and curtains. Plendify assists in marketing of my products. They create promotional banners for my business at no cost. And most importantly, they have given me an online presence and access to markets across Ghana, and very soon, global access as well. What stands out is the additional $500 revenue my company has made since joining the platform about 2 months ago. Thank you, Plendify, for the sales and exposure.
As a building and construction company in Ghana, I was looking for a one-stop online marketplace or platform where I could list all my products as well as get increased sales. A marketing director from Plendify approached us and we signed up on the Plendify B2B marketplace. I quickly signed up for the Grow Me plan, and we haven't looked back. So far through Plendify, construction companies have bought cement from us, and we are looking forward to doing more business through the platform. Thank you, Plendify.
So, basically in these 2 videos, we see examples of people experiencing a higher sales growth by being with the marketplace, because One, not only do we promote all our suppliers in the marketplace because we want to give them more exposure. So the goal really is to ensure that as they join our marketplace, we create for them, banners from our team, our UI UX team, that we share across different social media platforms, thereby allowing them to reach a bigger audience. And also one thing about us is that we also allow people outside the continent to transact with the continent, right? For example, what does that mean? Just last month, there was a gentleman in the UK who's building a home here in Ghana, and he bought some cement bags for his site from the UK through our platform. So he came with the platform, bought bags of cement, which basically through one of our suppliers, Tikamol. I believe they're also based in Nigeria as well. So Tikamol is a very strong building and construction company here in Ghana and Nigeria as well. And they were able to transact with us on the platform. And so conveniently from the UK, was able to transact with local suppliers that obviously Plendify has already verified and vetted. I know that they are good for basically transacting with them. And with that said, they were able to transact with them successfully. And we had these items that they bought, these cement bags, delivered to his site here locally in Accra. And so these are ways in which we're empowering people, not only on the continent, but also outside to transact with African businesses in a very seamless way. So where are we going with all of this? So I think the long-term vision of Plendify really is to build the biggest platform that allows African suppliers to showcase what they produce, what they sell to the whole continent, and quite frankly, to the world. And so we have a wide and deep theme of verticals that we're looking to basically provide, from building and construction, food and beverage, healthcare as well, and others as well. And quite frankly, too, we are basically underpinning all of this by offering best-in-class customer service to ensure that both buyer side and supplier side are always happy in every transaction. And then lastly, also trying to looking to build a Pan-African brand that basically has a very high level of trust and allows people across the continent to transact with all our suppliers in a very high quality and efficient way. A big thank you obviously to our partners, Flutterwave, for working with us on this initiative. I think you offering us payments solutions has been a great service to us, and we're looking forward to transacting more with you guys over the long term. So I think we are available as a platform, 7 days a week. We are on all social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter. You can place what we call special orders on the platform, where we allow people who perhaps have come to the marketplace but cannot find what they're looking for to send us a query or send us what they're looking for. And then using our offline networks of suppliers, we're able to get for them exactly what they're looking for. So we've been able to solve, for those unique transactions that basically you don't see happening on a daily basis through this particular function on our platform. So social media, we're always on. Customer service, we aim to basically please our customers, to 24/7 every day in the week. And we're giving people a chance to interact with us and basically ask for what they want. And we have it in our network of suppliers that basically we have verified and trust, that basically are trustworthy. We're able to fulfill any unique or nuanced orders from any buyers that want to basically get those things. I believe we're at the end of our submission. So thank you so much for being part of this session with us. Looking forward to the Q&A section. Like I said, we're available on all platforms, whether it be social media, website, and also on our apps as well, on the App Store. Thank you so much for your time, and open the floor for Q&A.
Thank you so much, Beau. Thank you for your presentation. So if you have any questions, you can just drop that in the Q&A section, so we can just go over it at the end of all presentation. But now we'll be going to Jola. So she's going to be sharing what Flutterwave offers business owners today. Jola, are you there?
Yes.
So I think you can stop sharing your screen.
Can you hear me fine? Sure.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, awesome. All right. Thanks for that presentation, Beau. Hello, everyone. My name is Jola Day. I'm the product manager for the Flutterwave store. Like Sheon said, I'm going to walk you through the Flutterwave store, and I'll just share my screen in. All right. I believe everyone can see my screen now. So first things first, you're probably wondering what the store is if you're not familiar with it. Flutterwave store is our e-commerce solution that we make available to businesses of all sizes so that they can get all their goods online and start to sell in under 5 minutes. The Flutterwave store was our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. What we found was that, merchants who had been previously selling and receiving payment were no longer able to because of the restrictions and movement for themselves and for their customers as well. So we came up with this product so that it would be super easy for them to move all their, products online and continue business as they knew it. There's several benefits of the Flutterwave store, and what I've highlighted here are, a couple of key ones. So you don't need to know how to code. You don't need to, pay for website hosting. You don't need a developer to help you set up your shop. You can pretty much do it from the comfort of your home yourself. It lets you generate invoices electronically, so you don't have to manually, write down the sums that you've received and, try to make sense of what your books look like. It also creates a super seamless shopping experience for your customers in that they don't have to wait for your response before they can proceed with the orders that they want to make. In terms of a payment link, you are able to generate one and then give your customers the options to choose whichever payment link they are most comfortable with. So you have cards, Paga, USSD, bank transfer. There's a whole host of payment options made available to your customers. There's several features of the store, which include the fact that you can list multiple product variants. For instance, if you have one item that comes in several sizes or several colors, you'll be able to do this on the platform. And then in terms of managing your inventory, there's an opportunity for you to put the stock levels of all your products. So if you have products that come in blue, green, red, and white, you can put the specific stock levels for all of those so that you don't have to, keep coming back to say whether it's in stock or out of stock. And then you can sleep easy knowing that we have an inbuilt fraud management solution, which brings me to the PCI DSS compliance. It basically speaks to the fact that all your card information used in this environment is 100% safe. Like I mentioned before, you have multiple payment options, including bank transfer, USSD, QR codes. You can basically give your customers a whole host of payment options rather than just saying, this is my bank account, transfer to me. We do accept local and international cards, so that's great news as well. And then in terms of the platforms that we have available to you, you're not limited to just the web, where you have to, open it up either on your mobile phone or on your computer. We also have a mobile app that lets you, look at your business every moment of the day, if you like. And then in terms of setting discounts, you have the ability to set discounts specifically to your store. This is not something that we would impose and say, this is a discount that is being set on the entire interface. It's unique to you. If you're feeling generous and you want to give your customers a 50% discount or so, that's perfectly fine. So everyone can use the Flutterwave store. You can be an individual or you might have a registered business already. We welcome everyone. You simply have to upload your KYC information, which would, just tell us more about yourself. So it's just identifiers of yourself, of your business, so that, once you do that, you're pretty much good to go and you can start to receive your payments conveniently. All right, in a second, I'll show you a quick demo of how the store works.
Returning to work! With ClickUp, our calendars have never been more in sync. Now our project timelines meet.
What does the path to success in your online business look like? What are the ingredients needed to succeed in selling online? Here's the obvious hint. You need the Flutterwave store. Here are the ingredients you need to succeed. Great product images, responsive layout, default payments integration, instant notifications, fast checkout, and even delivery. If you have no coding skills or knowledge, you're just as welcome, because the Flutterwave store doesn't require any. You can create a store for your business for free and start selling in 5 minutes or less. Step 1. Visit www.flutterwave.com/store and click on Set up your store for free. Step 2. Complete the sign-up form and click Get Started. Step 3. Check your email inbox or verification mail and click on the link. Select how you want to accept payments. Step 4. Click on Store in the side menu of your admin panel, fill in the details, and take it online. Step 5. Add products and start selling. Create your own online store today and receive payments from around the world. The Flutterwave store. Just sign up, list, and sell. It's that easy.
And so I've highlighted here an example of what the flow would be from when your customers come to your store all the way to the point at which you're made. So here we're just using an example, which is JK Fashion. So the first thing JK Fashion would do, obviously, once they set up their store, they would put their links on their social media platforms, or platforms where they typically engage with their customers. And so their customers see that link and then go to the JK Fashion Flutterwave store and look around, see what it is that they want to order. They select the item that they're looking to buy and then proceed to checkout. At that point, they put in their details, which includes their names, their delivery information, the specific item they want to buy, and then they select the Pay Now option. Like I mentioned before, once they do that, they are then presented with a list of different payment options, which they then choose. After the customer does this, the merchant is immediately notified of an order that has been placed. So the merchant can go in there, look at the specific items, whether it's a black pair of shoes or a brown leather bag. They see specifically what the customer wants, and then they start to pick and pack the order. Once the merchant's JK Fashion is done with processing this order, they can then raise it as an order to their own logistics partner, and then the goods are on the way to the customer. The customer is able to contact the merchant if they have any questions or queries about the product, and the merchant also can go back to their dashboard and look at the analytics of all their customers. So who has been buying from them quite frequently, what days of the week they get the most commerce, all sorts of information like that. In terms of pricing, this is unique to the region, but for the purpose of this webinar, where we have a lot of our base in Nigeria, I've highlighted what the processing fees for local transactions and international transactions are. But you can always go to our website and then view the pricing should you want to see one specific to your region that isn't listed here. In terms of settlement, I've highlighted some of the FAQs. So you receive your money the next day for local payments, and then for international payments, it would really determine on your region. Again, the transaction limits are also dependent on the type of account that you have with us. In terms of who bears the transaction charge, we have the flexibility to make it either yourself, the merchant, who bears these charges, or your customers who bear the charges. It's up to you, depending on the way you've set up your store. Right, so we have a couple of testimonials of people who have used the Flutterwave store and absolutely changed the game in their businesses. And today I will show you one from one of our merchants called Yanga Beauty.
Download the Jumia Food app and get up to 20% off your favorite meals from KFC, Chicken Republic, and The Plate.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Loco. I am an experienced makeup brow artist and the founder of Yanga Beauty. I got into makeup artistry in 2011 and it's been an amazing journey. Fast forward to 2014, I had an experience where I used an inferior eyeliner, which I couldn't have makeup on for a year, which really was depressing. And in my recovery period, I started to research and try to create my own beauty product that would be premium, cruelty-free, secure, suitable, and reliable for the African woman. And in that, I discovered that the African woman or women were less represented in the sense that foundations, makeup, wearing that suitable for our complexion, the climate, they were not easily accessible to our market. And I decided to bridge the gap. At Yanga Beauty, we offer beauty products and services that empower the African woman to look good, feel confident and comfortable in the way that she presents herself to the world. At Yanga Beauty, we believe that the first requisite to success or to thrive is to confer benefits and the reward will come automatically as a matter of course. We are so big on customer satisfaction. We actually call our customers jewels because they are valuable, precious, and unique in their own right. We're so big on social commerce and we build conversations and connections via our digital channels. So I love the Flutterwave store because it is super simple to use. I'm able to send that link to our customers and there's like an automatic invoice that just comes in. So if I'm not around, my corporate support specialist receives that invoice to confirm the payment, and then it's so easy for us to fulfill our orders. So I remember when I was trying to build up my makeup kit and I had to buy like a big eyeshadow palette, which didn't quite turn out well. And that encouraged me to make our own eyeshadow palettes, just putting the key colors there and liners. And I had a conversation with one of our jewels and she was sharing how she loved the eyeshadow palette because it was just exactly what she needed. That was so encouraging to read because it just meant that we were actually fulfilling a need in that time. One of the biggest challenges would have to be accepting international payments. I mean, we will get requests, do you have a retail partner in the US? Do you have a retail partner in South Africa or Ghana? And it was so frustrating that we had these products, but we couldn't, accept payments for them. And when we found Flutterwave, it was just like a breakthrough moment for us. So we're able to accept, different currencies on one platform, which is just mind-blowing and just, we experience so many challenges. I don't think that receiving money should be one. So finding Flutterwave has just, solved that problem a whole lot and just simplified our payments and operations here in Africa.
All right. So on this journey, after you set up your store, you won't be walking that journey alone. We do have tools and resources, one of which you are currently on now. So this webinar, like Sheon had mentioned, is just to help you put together all the information that you might be needing as a business. So today we've had this session where Beau has talked about digital strategies to increase sales. We have several other talks that you can look at on our YouTube page. It's a curated list of all our sessions, so you should definitely check that out. In summary, you can, change the game, like I said before, and really just scale your business. You don't have to have customers asking you for your account number, or you asking them to DM for the price before you can complete that transaction. Sign up now. All right, thanks everyone. Let's know if you have any questions or comments.
Hi, thank you so much, Jola. So now we'll be going to the Q&A section. So if you have any questions, you can just put that in the Q&A section and then we'll go through it. So the first one is for Jola, and it says, can digital products be sold on the store?
Okay, so I assume you mean ebooks and the likes. So today that isn't quite enabled, but what we do recommend is to use the payment link option. So at the point at which you do that, your customers can then get the option to download what it is that you share with them. There are other workarounds for this as well. So if you can just please send an email to hi@flutterwavego.com so that we can speak specifically to what sort of digital product it is you sell. We'll be able to advise you. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question was, will you share the record? Okay, this is recorded, so it'll be shared out during the week. And if you missed that too, you can also check our YouTube channel. It would also be there live, and you can also catch up on other sessions. Last question. I think Beau has answered some questions on his end, but Jola, this is for you. Good day. Sure. Please, my question is that why are businesses are using Flutterwave platform to withdraw money from, okay, I think this is an issue. So I think this person, Abdurrahman, yes, you can just send us a message at hi@flutterwavego.com and then we can help you out with this. So I think that's all for, okay, somebody's asking again, okay, do I need to have a website that I can link the Flutterwave store to? Jola?
Oh, no, no, you don't. You can absolutely just open a Flutterwave store. Like I said before, the great news is that you wouldn't need to pay any charges for web hosting or domain name, all of that. It's free, absolutely free to open up a Flutterwave store. The only charges are, per transaction. But to your question, no, you don't need a website. You just need the Flutterwave store itself.
Okay, so I can see a question in the comment section. So I think this will be the last one. Do I send the charges for card transactions to my customers? My bank said that was not possible. I don't know if that has to be do with store.
Okay, so again, maybe an email so that we can take that up would be great, because this isn't speaking to the store itself. So Shay, I think we might need to have this person send an email.
All right, I think we're done for today. So if you have, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope today has been insightful for you. Thank you, Beau. Thank you, Jola. So if you have any more questions, you can reach out to us at hi@flutterwavego.com. This session is being recorded and would share during the course of the week in your inbox. You will receive that. And if you just want to reach out to us, our handles are the Flutterwave on Instagram and on Twitter. And for anything support on Twitter, you can reach out to us at FLW support, and then we'll take care of that for you. So feel free to follow us also. And thank you for joining us. And Beau, do you have anything else to say?
No, but just saying a big thank you to all of you for having me on this platform. Very much appreciated, and looking forward to working with you guys some more as we grow on this journey. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.